Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to Warcraft 3 The Frozen Throne. So I figured we had a couple days to kill until the Prophet and the Warlock DLC does indeed drop, so hey, let's take it back to the old school and do some Warcraft 3. So this is going to be a replay featuring my Undead facing off against the humans of WCH 777. So let's go ahead and turn off the Fog of War and put it from my perspective. So down in the bottom left corner is going to be my opponent playing the humans, and he's actually going to be going with a super unorthodox build. So he actually opens with a barracks, and it actually caught me a little bit off guard when I saw his army for the first time. So he's going with a blacksmith and a barracks, and the only reason you would ever do this is just to rush riflemen. So it's almost reminiscent of like playing Undead and just going with Crypt Fiends. A lot of times Undead players will go with Crypt Fiends, and well, that's pretty much the meta build, right? And what you do is you get an early graveyard to get those Crypt Fiends very fast, but that is kind of the standard meta for the Undead. You usually just want to go with Crypt Fiends, you get a Death Knight for the coil, and then you get the Lich for Frost Nova, and then from there you go down Destroyer tech, which is, if you watch most pro players or most high-level Undead players, sometimes you'll see some slight deviation in terms of unit picks, like going with a couple of ghouls in the beginning and doing some creeping, but it's almost always the Death Knight, and it almost always ends up with Crypt Fiends as well as Destroyers and statues in the late game. But this match, we're going to be defying the metagame. We're going to be going in with a Crypt Lord. So yes, we're going to be going Crypt Lord, Necromancer. It's pretty wild. Now, the issue with the build and going Crypt Lord, Necromancer in general is the fact that, sometimes you'll take an engagement in open field, right? And the Necromancers will just blow their load, just going crazy, dropping summons. It's a lot of value in an initial battle, but then your opponent can TP home, disengage, and then attack you right away after that. And a lot of your resources are going to be exhausted. A lot of the units, including ghouls, are going to be beaten up and dead, and obviously turned into skeletons, which simply will disappear. They're not a permanent unit, much like Total War Warhammer. So you can see here we're going to be going with the Crypt Fiend. He's pretty good. He has some decent battlefield control tools. He's able to put characters to sleep. You can surround them. It kind of temporarily shuts them down. Granted, your opponent with good micro can wake them up and get some pretty, can get out of it pretty easily, but it's tough. In a pinch, if you're chasing your opponent, you're able to sleep them, get a good surround. It can lead to a kill or at least force a town portal. Looks like my opponent here is going to be going with the scout, so we just have the militia going up. He's probably just going to be opening to see my build order, and I'm doing the same thing as well. A lot of Undead players, at least from what I've seen, they don't always scout with like an Acolyte. Sometimes they'll just like go down with the Knight right away or some skeletons with the Rod of Necromancy, which is probably better. But I'm so used to playing StarCraft 2, or at least I was, so this is kind of the last thing I remember from a true RTS game. So my opponent's going to be going to the center here with the militia, and the reason why he's able to really get away with the delayed Altar of Kings. So his hero technically would be way slower than mine, right? It would take a lot because I built mine quite a bit quicker. However, he has some militia. He's going to be sending it back to the center, and the reason he's doing that, and for anyone who doesn't know this game, each faction has a couple of heroes to choose from, but there's also neutral heroes here in the middle. So my opponent is going to be summoning a hero here in the middle. And all you need to do that is your Altar of Kings. You don't really have to, it's going to be relatively quick. I mean, of course, there is a little bit of a cooldown on it, but you'll see. Anyways, going to be creeping up here. I do have Arakimus, the Dreadlord, and I opened with the Aura of Necromancy, which is going to, I forget what it's called. It's Vampirism or something? Vampiric Aura. Yeah, something like that. We get the Ring of Protection, which is pretty good. It is going to add 2 to the armor here in a moment, and I do also have the Rod of Necromancy, which I got from my shop. So I'm going to be summoning some skeletons to really beat down these trappers. But yeah, the Aura's not bad. It does give my units pretty good leech, so whenever they hit something, they're going to be healing. It's very synergistic with like a big ghoul on or something like that. My opponent does have the double rifleman, and he's going to be grabbing his character right now. So it probably just came off cooldown, or it did relatively, a couple 30 seconds ago, give or take. So riflemen are going to be grabbing that sweet Beast Lord, if memory serves. And the Beast Lord is a summoner character, so he's going to be posturing here. Not sure what he's doing back at home. Looks like he's building some farms out front. Pretty standard stuff, though. I don't know why it's so delayed, like his character. Maybe he's just got some shenanigans afoot. Who knows? Perhaps he supply blocked himself. That could be something as well. So if we actually go over to his perspective right now, he is not supply blocked. Yeah, it doesn't look like he was, and I don't think he finished a farm, so perhaps there is just a little bit of a delay on those tavern heroes that I maybe missed, I'm not sure. So he's going to start power creeping. He does have the bear, so the bear is, the tankier of the characters. Usually you do see the boars because they have those quill attacks, the quill boars, and I think they might be a little bit more optimal, but again, for power creeping, the bear is very good because it's able to take a lot of damage. So I'm doing the same thing up here. I am level 2, so I'm a little bit ahead. My second item wasn't the best. From the creep camp, I did get the Cloak of Shadows, which allows me to hide. I mean, I guess in a very niche situation, it could be okay. So I'm going to be sleeping this Forest Troll Chapper, who has pretty good DPS, and from there I should be able to focus this guy down. So a little bit of sloppy micro. I almost lose a ghoul, so I pull back my injured ones, and from there I'm going to be working on this Magi and hopefully getting some good items. Back to my opponent's side, he's going to be creeping as well. He's still level 1, but he did get a Potion of Plungement, so that's going to be relatively helpful for healing him up after these engagements. But for the most part, the bear does have 600 HP, which is pretty tanky. I mean, riflemen are about 535, and it's a fair amount. So he does get level 2, and with level 2, let's see what he gets. I don't know if we can see the abilities. I know there's some like mods and add-ons where you can actually see what the actual ability spread is of people. I've seen it in like some of the high-level casts and back to Warcraft and on Grubby's channel, but here it looks like he's just going to be going with the bear, maybe? Well, he can't level up the bear again, so it's probably going to be the Quill Beast or something, I would imagine. So I'm going to be sending my 2 injured ghouls back to the base. They're just going to be, chopping some wood, because for anyone who doesn't know, the ghouls of the Undead are a combat unit. They're like a tier 1 combat unit. But on top of that, they're also farmers. So they're going to be chopping this wood right here, just going to Pound Town on that and hopefully having a good time. So I am tier 2 now. I'm going to be getting a graveyard just to get some tech and also allow me to just upgrade my ghouls and just get a little bit more armor and damage across the board. But the Dreadlord isn't a bad creeper. He's able to, it's pretty creepy for sure. But with the Rod of Necromancy, Undead becomes so good at creeping. And also on top of that, all my skeletons are getting the Vampiric Aura. Now, just for anyone who wants to play this game competitively, the Crypt Lord, a couple of people have made it work. I've seen it work in some high-level tournament games, but just for the sake of ease, the Death Knight is a much easier character. He has healing, he's highly mobile, etc., etc. So Arachmus is going to be grabbing those sweet Gloves of Haste. Not going to be terribly useful, but if I do get like a Lich or another character like that in late game, I could be dropping it. And here, most of my army's at home. You can see all my ghouls are going to be chopping wood. I'm running a little bit light. You don't really have to run around with all those forces, but the Beastmaster is going to be hunting me. He does have the Quill Beast as well as some of these riflemen, so he has most of his army here. So I hit him once there, and the reason I did that is because he had a potion on him, and potions are kind of a over time effect. So the fact that I was able to hit them disables the potion, which is very, very strong. So I'm going to be running away here. I disabled his potion, but my poor little ghoul in the back might get caught. I don't have the Death Knight to give him the aura, so he's going to be a little bit slower. But basically at this point, I'm going to be pulling the ghouls from my base. I know I need to go balls deep and just fight here. I'm also going to be getting cannibalized, which allows the ghouls to eat the corpses of fallen enemies, and from there they can heal up, which is quite good. But it looks like this ghoul might be getting caught. I do sleep my opponent right there, and I'm going to be trying to run this ghoul back to the base. I can't remember if I forget, but I think the Quill Beast might be able to catch him. These summons, Quill Beast is one of the other summons for the Beast Lord. He's very, very fast. So this guy's going to be going back to chop wood. I kind of feign an engagement to push him back here, and I'm also going to be upgrading the Ziggurat, because Undead buildings can become, or the farms, I guess is the equivalent of it, can become turrets, so it's going to be upgrading here in just a moment. And I'm going to be getting the Temple of the Damned. So my opponent probably looking at my build and being like, what the hell is this? What is this noob doing? But we're just going in. We got to try something different. It's fun. So the graveyard here, we're going to be upgrading the Unholy Strength for the ghouls to make them a little bit stronger. And yeah, the Temple of the Damned is almost ready. Now, I was waiting for a Death Knight. So my second hero is coming out. And whenever you get to a second tier, you can get a second hero. So for every tier, you get a new hero. So as the Death Knight does come out, I engage and I sleep my opponent. So he slept, and he has the Scroll of Town Portal, but I get pretty much a full surround. So that's what you do. You sleep them when they're standing still, you surround them, and you either have to TP or die. So he's actually going to opt to die. Now, some people do this to save the money because TPs are super expensive. And here I'm going to be chasing down my opponent's forces, so I will be getting a little bit of a surround on this guy. He actually slips out the back, so I'm a little bit rusty on that, but nonetheless, we are going to kill that guy, which is going to be good. So far as the supply goes, I have 31 supply. My opponent does have 40, so he's doing pretty good, but a lot of that is because he just has a shit ton of workers. He has so many, and he's just going with Mass Rifleman. I don't know if he has the upgrades. Let's actually go ahead and take a look. So this Rifleman does have upgrades, so this is a very unorthodox build, but yeah, I don't know. We're going to see if he can make it work. So right here, Gaz Boartusk, his hero's now back. So you have the option. Whenever your hero dies in this game, you can either resurrect him through your town, which does take quite some time, or you can go to the neutral tavern, pay an exorbitant amount of money, resurrect him, but he's not going to be at full health. He's going to be a little bit beat up. So some people, if you have a surplus of money, opt to do this to get their heroes back quite a bit faster. So Gaz Boartusk is going to be creeping here, getting some goodies, and I'm just doing the same thing, just kind of farming it up with my ghouls and using the Death Knight to try and make sure I don't lose any. I did sleep the Org Magi to make sure that he didn't give the Bloodlust to this guy. And you can see as my units get injured, you pull them back. It's pretty standard for most RTS games. Been a little bit slow on that in this game, but for the most part, things are going well. So Baron Paranold, it's level 2, so now we're going to be getting the Unholy Aura, which is going to make my ghouls faster, my army will heal faster. It's a very powerful synergy when you have the Dreadlord plus the Death Knight and just get all those auras going. It is just burly. So we do kill that guy. We also get a Health Stone, which is going to be good because the Death Knight cannot heal himself. So having the means to heal him with the Health Stone is going to be incredibly powerful. Over here, the Slaughterhouse is coming up. Slaughterhouse is going to be giving us access to the Obsidian statues for the big AoE healing, and it's just a good force multiplier, right? You have a huge army of ghouls and skeletons, so getting those minor heals across the board really adds up in the long game. My opponent just going in with the Rifleman, just keeping it pretty simple, and this is something you don't see terribly often. I don't know if this was something that was done in like some high-level tournament where this guy got the inspiration from. I certainly don't think it's optimal, but nonetheless, I mean, he's making it work relatively well, aside from losing his character. So he's going to be shooting down this Org Magi, and creeping is really easy for this build. He's able to summon the bear to tank them, and he just goes to town on them, and it's killing quite a bit faster than mine. So at this point, I'm going to be going in for a bit of an alpha strike. I'm going to try to. I'm pulling in all of these necromancers as well as the ghouls here, and I don't have any upgrades because I did cancel it earlier because I thought my graveyard was going to die. So I'm a little bit behind in that respect. Going to be creeping here, going after them, and unfortunately, I think he's going to be ganking me because that's the next creep. I was hoping I could jack him really quick and just get this, but you can see his army is going to be moving over pretty quick. And he has some really good items. He has the Wand of the Wind, which can put me up in the air because he did creep that high level camp. My Necromancers are level 2. They do have the Adept upgrade, which means they get Frenzy, which can be good for actually finishing off characters or just buffing the attack of your own units, but a little bit scary. So this Necromancer is taking a beating, trying to fall back right now, but I'm being kind of trolled by this Rock Golem. I do use Death Quill to keep that Necromancer alive. I'm going to be attacking right here. But at this point, I let my Cryptlord or Dreadlord get very, very low. So at this point, I had a little bit of a lapse in micro. I actually attacked here, and I did not notice how low this character was. It's been so long since I played this game, so I'm not really used to looking. He does get a really good net right there, or not a net, but a Wand of the Wind. And what that does is it actually interrupts my character, so I'm not able to get a Death Quill. So right now I can't heal my Arachnus. I was like spamming it. I was like, why can't I heal him? Why can't I heal him? And then I looked up in the sky, and my Death Knight was actually, put up in the sky by Wand of the Wind. So that was a really bad situation. I was like, oh man, I just really wasn't paying attention there. He got me pretty good. So from here, I'm going to be counter pushing. I'm like, all right, I got to fight. The Necromancer is going to be summoning some skeletons. I still have a Death Knight, and his character is pretty low. So he does have the Potion of Invulnerability. He's going to pop that to make himself a little bit tankier, but I have a Health Stone as well. So I pop that, I heal myself. And now the ghouls are really kind of getting to town on his rifleman right here. So the trade is going a little bit better. I level up, and he has to use a town portal. Now, he's level 5. In the fight, I would say win in my favor in some respects. I did lose my hero, but I was able to kill a lot of his troops, and it was an even exchange for the most part, I would say. So at this point, we're going to be going down here, trying to do a little bit of power creeping. While I do have the field advantage, he only has one character. So if that character does go down, all the marbles are pretty much in one basket. Looks like he's getting a bunch of healing. The human shop does, of course, have a healing scroll, which heals all nearby troops, and also has the Potion of Clarity to heal his mana. So pretty good stuff. So just clearing this town down here, I do have the Circlet of Nobility, or Gold Mine, I should say. Yeah, we're just going to be going here. Man, these guys trolled me so hard. And he's so close to being dead. I should have just finished him off, but I wasn't paying attention. I mean, I was so focused on microing back in the base. But anyways, here we do have the Death Knight. Death Knight's going to be falling back. And like I said, a lot of my troops did die, and the skeletons are a temporary unit. You can see they do have a health bar here, so they're just going to be disappearing here in a moment. Back up in the base, we're going to be getting obsidian statues, which are going to be super useful. These things have AoE heals, and they also have an AoE mana replenishment. So if you have a bunch of heroes or characters like that, you are going to be able to heal those guys up, and yeah, it's quite strong. More Necromancers are coming out right here, and I'm kind of thinking about getting a second hero. I did check this camp to see if it was still here, but it looks like my opponent did creep that, and he's going to go down here and finish this off. So Gaz Boartusk is level 5. Now, something about leveling heroes in this game. When you get to level 5, you can no longer level up your hero or get experience from creeps. It has to be from enemy character or players or units or whatever. The other character, the Archmage, can. So what a lot of pro players do, for example, is they'll grab their Archmage and creep and just run around and harass with the other hero, just to make sure that all the experience is going to one character, etc., etc. So in the middle, we are going to be getting a third hero, and I was like, you know what, you guys have got the Dreadlord. He's pretty fun, but let's get another very interesting hero that I guess you don't see terribly often. So we are going to be getting the Fire Lord, who is a summoner character. He also has some decent AoE damage, or I think it's called like Soul Burn or something like that. It does single target, and then he does have something that I think it causes explosions. But his name is Smolderus. Very good stuff. Kind of looks like a mini Ragnaros. So he's going to be running in with the Fire Summon. So I'm like, okay, we have Necromancers, we have bodies. Let's just get more. Let's have some fun. And from here, we'll do a little bit of fast forwarding as we just posture. My opponent is going to be creeping on the far side over here, a little bit out of position. Now, he does have the scroll of Town Portal. I think, no, he does not. So he actually used it to get away earlier. So now you can see why some people opt to just let their character die instead of using their TP, because now he's out of position, and I'm going to get some damage on his base. It's not going to be lethal. I probably should have ran back here, but I didn't want to run back into his base and overextend too much, because if he did have a scroll of Town Portal, you can actually buy more from your shops. I would have been TP'd on and could have been in a bad position. I wanted to make sure to have my opponent in front of me and get that good engagement. So from here, we're just going to be mulching on some farms, trying to supply block my opponent, and I can simply retreat at this point, right? And just be in a really good position. I killed a couple of his farms, even though he did creep some really good stuff and was able to, be in good shape. So slow-mo, epic slow-mos. So we're going to be charging in now. We're just going for the final fight. You can see I do have Lava Spawn. I have a lot of summons. I'm going to be spam sleeping Gaz Boartusk, trying to shut him down a little bit. Granted, sleeping the Archmage in the back might have been better, but the battle's going pretty good. The Spirit Bearer is taking a beating. I have my ghouls and skeletons are coming in, and it does not look like he has Dispel yet, although it looks like he just got Adept, so he could potentially do just some Dispel. I can't quite remember the mana cost on that. Yeah, it looks like he is dispelling my skeletons, so very well played to my opponent there, and yeah, it's really hurting my strategy quite a bit. But anyways, Arachnus is in pretty good shape. He's just clawing, and my opponent, in a little bit of a desperate situation here, is going to be just calling to arms. So that means he called all the workers from his city to fight. They put on armor, they come out, they fight, taking a little bit of damage on the Dread Knight there, but I have the summons, I have a lot of power in my heroes, right? And this guy's probably going to be hitting level 2 soon. And even though my opponent is deflecting this engagement and doing pretty well, I'm summoning more skeletons. They keep coming, they keep coming. The attrition is there, And he's losing a lot of workers, and they only fight for a certain amount of time before they lose their armor, which is pretty funny. It's kind of like, oh, let's just throw our armor on the ground. It's too heavy anyway. So the fight's going pretty well. He does have a lot of guns in the back line. His hero's in relatively good shape. Another summon's going to be coming in. He does have this Ogre Mauler in the back that's kind of beating down my Necromancer. So at this point, I'm like, I've done a lot of damage to his economy. He doesn't have a lot of workers left. I mean, he has a handful. So let's kite and fight. I'm faster. I have more burst damage, I think, with my Death Knight. So we're just going to kind of try and pick apart his forces. And now you can see he realizes this, because the entire time we're fighting, I'm producing in my base, right? I have my income. I have ghouls coming. I have new units being built. And he does not. So we're going to be engaging here, just kind of kiting back a little bit. And we can look at his resources, and you can see he has 130 gold, and it's not really increasing. The supply of him, he has 43 supply compared to mine, which is going to be 46. So I'm a little bit ahead on overall supply, but my opponent is certainly on the chase right here. So he does have, you know, a pretty decent army, but I need to capitalize on the fact that I really damaged his economy. And I do have troops in reserve, right? I've been building ghouls this entire time. I have a statue coming. I have abominations coming. Abominations are a tier 3 unit. And the bear, yes, the bear, for some reason, the spirit bear can teleport. So once it does get to level 3, it's able to teleport, which is pretty cool. So the ghouls at this point, I fall back to the graveyard. The graveyard does have fresh corpses, so I am able to summon some skeletons. And at this point, I'm going to chase a little bit. I'm going to get in there. I get a nice little sleep on his caster, so I do get a surround for the most part, but it looks like there is a little bit of a gap. He's able to slip out. For some reason, I just kind of messed that up. It's a hard thing to do, actually, but I used to be good. Anyways, we do get the bear down here. We're going to be attacking these guys. I do have the abomination, so now I have some heavy meat in this army. This guy is just thick, he is big, he is proud, and he's doing a really good job fighting, just kind of beating down these priests right here, and I am able to get a really good sleep on Gaz Bortusk. I did notice he was level 6, so I was like, oh man, I should probably just like kind of keep him disabled for as long as I can. My Dreadlord's level 4. I have pretty good mana, so if he does try and ult, or use his ultimate ability, which is a channeled stampede, I could actually sleep him, so he wouldn't be able to do that. So we're going to be summoning, and the Dispel is really good play for my opponent. He's able to dispel these troops, and it's getting some pretty good value. But we're fighting, and we have reinforcements coming. A lot of Necromancers, too. My statues are both here. They're going to be healing mana as well as HP, although I don't remember if I propped on the mana one quite yet. But the Abominations are giving my opponent a lot of problems, and I am able to burst down his caster. So in the back, the Archmage is going to be going down here. Gaz Bortusk is a little bit alone. Granted, his bear is penetrating into the back line, but it is now fallen, and you can see that the Obsidian statue is just kind of anchoring my back line, and now the human forces are being driven back. Gaz Bortusk, he doesn't really have any means of TPing right now, so he's going to have to run, and from here we're going to be getting a nice little healthy surround there, and we move in and get the surround. So he is pinned in. I think he's just out of range. It's like the movies when like the character can't quite reach something that's going to save it. Like he can't get to this Goblin Merchant to buy a town scroll, so he is going to be going down right here, and that is probably going to be really tough for my opponent to come back from. We kill him, we're going to be pushing for the main base, and here comes the buttering of the bread. So my opponent's going to be farming a bit of a Helm's Deep, but like I said, he had to sacrifice a lot of his economy to make that hold earlier, and from here we're going to be pushing into the back of the base. He does have a couple troops, and I know that he's going to be trying to resurrect his hero here. He probably didn't have enough money to do it at the tavern again, so I'm like, take this out. If we get rid of it, he's not going to be able to get his heroes back, and that is probably going to be GG. So from here, we're just going to push into the back of the base, just forcing our way into the back this time, because obviously we have an overpowering amount of heroes and characters, and we are able to kill his guys and resurrect them as skeletons. So very well played by my opponent. He caught me off guard with a couple of sniping tactics earlier, was able to goon my character. His Wand of the Wind play was incredibly solid. You can see his hero comes back, but at this point it's pretty much too late. He used Wand of the Wind on my Death Knight, and I was kind of counting on the heals. I'm like, oh, the damage isn't a big deal. I have a Death Knight, I can heal him. But no, he got me up in the sky. He had a really good just focus fire with all those handgunners with the upgraded damage. I really wasn't expecting that burst, so I didn't respect it. And he was able to really punish it and make it a pretty long, solid game there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Warcraft 3 The Frozen Throne game, and I'll be putting up like 1 or 2 of these like every couple weeks. I do enjoy the game quite a bit, and of course when Warcraft 3 Reforged comes out, I'll get a little bit sharper on my commentary. I have to like remember all the different units. I kind of forget their names and the names of the abilities. It's been years and years since I've gotten back into this game, and yeah, all that kind of good stuff. So I'll do my best to sharpen up on the items. I remember most of them, but you guys deserve better. So thanks again for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.